I've always wanted to make this video, talking about being a military child, and yes, there are ups and downs to it, and I understand, like, a lot of people, when they come to YouTube, they want to find people they can connect to, and that's kind of what I want this video to be, and I'm going to do more videos like this in the future, where you guys get to kind of get a glimpse into my life, and how, I've lived and such. So first things first is, being a military child. This isn't as common as a lot of people think it is, but it does happen. What is a military child? Some people don't even know what this is, actually. A military child is where your mother or father, or even both, go into a branch of the military. Air Force, Navy, Army, Marine Corps, there are, I think I missed the branch, Coast Guard. I think everyone forgets the Coast Guard. But basically, they go into the military and then they have a child, or they go into the military and they already have a child. This is where we fall in as a military child or a military brat. We do have some perks and privileges, like being able to go on the military base without being ourselves serving, or being able to live on the military base as well. Some things that do suck is your parents move or they get deployed. Sorry, and this happens a lot. Like my father did deploy a lot when I was growing up, and it really sucked because I didn't have my father around. But as much as it does sound like it sucks, my mother was around a lot, and we got a bond by playing video games. And I know it's silly to say, but that's kind of like the main reason I like the Let's Go game, because it reminds me a lot of when me and my mother would play Pokemon together when my father would deploy. It didn't really affect my sister as much as it did me, mostly because my sister had my mother. She had that female role model, as I really didn't have the male role model. I know my words are just kind of slurring. It is midnight, by the way, when I'm recording this. Excuse me. As I was saying, yeah, he wasn't around all the time. So me and my mother, we bonded by playing Pokemon, Legend of Zelda, Mario, Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, and sometimes, yeah, I didn't actually play the game. She would just play the game, and we would laugh, we'd have fun, we'd poke fun at, like, the little jokes. It was always just kind of entertaining. And then there's moving. I know a lot of people don't understand what moving is because, sometimes you are born and you never leave the place that you were born from. I've met people like that. Moving is basically where you pack up everything in your house and you move to a new home. I've moved constantly. I've lived in a lot of parts of the United States, but it's easier to just point out, the main 3 places I've lived in for the most dominant parts of my life, meaning, the most time, which are Las Vegas, Nevada, where I was actually born, Anchorage, Alaska, where I spent 7 years of my life. Oh wow. And now I live in New Mexico. I'm not going to give the location because I'm still currently residing there. If you're going to come to New Mexico to see me, don't, because there's really nothing to do here in this town. That's not to be disrespectful to anyone here. This place is fun, but there's really nothing to do. So, I've lived in these dominant areas, and yeah, you might be like, you've lived in 2 deserts and a tundra, which, yeah, Alaska is very much more different than Las Vegas or even New Mexico. Sorry about that, I had to do a quick cut. I sadly forgot to watch my language, which is another thing. I know a lot of people like to give me a hard time because I do swear a lot, and that's more or less something I did get from my father and mother because, when he was around, I would try to imitate him until, I finally wanted to be me. And, that happens a lot with military children. They want to be like their parent that deploys a lot. And then sometimes that changes, like, as you grow up, like, I want to be more like my mother than my father, which, that's fine. She played a much more dominant role in my life. And again, that happens a lot if you are a military child. You will, you'll take after either A, the family member who did serve or the one who stayed home with you. And again, it's normal, I promise you that. If you are a military child and you stumble across this video, it is okay. And I understand it sucks. You know, you don't always have, you know, that family member there. Things get hard, you know, they're not there for holidays, you get sad. They're not there for your birthday. But, you know, they want to be. And I want to point that out. They do. They really want to, and I promise you that. So there are again easy things that can help. You can play games. I recommend staying in touch with people you move from. Like for me, I still have friends who reside in Nevada, and I still keep in touch with them. I have friends who live in Alaska, and I still keep in touch with them. You know, keeping in touch with people that you've met and moved from is a really good thing, and it really helps. I promise you it does help. And then there's, you know, again, you can do stuff with the family members you have around. You can play video games. You don't obviously have to do video games. We did other things like we went hiking. Some days we'd go out and, you know, we'd build snowmen while we were in Alaska. Or this was really kind of fun. I got to go and walk the Las Vegas Strip. I visited locations like Seattle, Washington, and such, so, you know, we got to see, like, the Space Needle. And, you know, there's other stuff you can easily do. If you're a very competitive person, I'd recommend maybe taking up something more on the lines of, like, sports that are in your local schools. I did track, cross-country, football, basketball. I even did weights. I never went competitive with weights. Because by the time I'd gotten into weights, I had started doing esports. So, you know, I play in tournaments for Smash Bros. I played in tournaments for Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 4, Xenoverse 2. You know, you can do stuff like that as well. There are a lot of ways you can cope with a family member missing. You can also do things like, if you have access to Skype, I recommend using Skype. It does really help, and I know some people are going to be like, well, how long does your father deploy for the longest time? The longest deployment he did was 1 year. And yeah, it was rough, not having my father for, you know, a full year. It sucked, but, you know, you can get through it. You can use things like Skype if he's allowed to, or she if it's your mother. You can do things like Facebook Messenger, sometimes that's allowed, sometimes you can send letters, you know. There are still ways to keep in touch with that family member who is not there. And again, I know it can suck. It really can. And I get that, and you may think, oh, I'm just full of lies, but I'm really not. I'm a prime example of, you know, going through these motions, you know, walking the steps, and, you know, finding that balance so I can, you know, cope with it better. Obviously there are still easier ways to do things. You can obviously, you know, you can do stuff with the parent that is there. If you have a, you know, like a sister or a brother, you know, you can do stuff with them. There's so many little things you can do. If you're in a local area and say, you know, you like to play card games, you can take up Magic the Gathering, you can take up Pokemon, Dragon Ball Super, you know, stuff like that. I still even play Pokemon and Dragon Ball Super, you know. Now, I will be doing videos on the Pokemon card game, by the way. I have a friend I've made over Instagram, he makes custom Pokemon cards, and his cards I've been making decks for, so eventually we'll have videos for that too. You can put yourself in your own world if you have to, you know. Reading is always a good thing. When my father would deploy, I would read a lot more, even though I have dyslexia. And one book series I'd recommend, if you really want like a detailed fantasy world, go and read like Lord of the Rings. If you're a big fan of DC and Marvel, you know, you can take up in comic books. There are several ways that you can cope with this. I know school systems have started doing things called S2S. It's called Student to Student. It's the military program for students who are who have active duty family or even retired, and they do the same things like what I'm talking about right now. How you can cope with a family member not being there, giving you suggestions, ideas. They also trade phone numbers and social medias. So if you do want to message me or tweet at me, yes, you can go to my Twitter. Or if you want to chat with me in Discord, I don't have a server set up yet. I am working on one. I do promise that. It's just gonna be a little bit. You can just, you can private message me on my Discord if you want. I do have an account, obviously. You just have to add me as a friend. That'll be in the description as well. You can follow me on Twitch if you want. You can talk to me in my Twitch chat. Like, I won't yell or anything. Like, if you come to me and be like, hey, I have a deployed family member. They're gone for this time span. What would you do? And I can easily answer all these questions for you. There's a lot of ways I can help, And again, I want this to be like a place where you can come to me and, you can ask for that advice. Like, I want that to be here. You know what I mean, guys? Again, I know it's hard being a military child. And, what I've listed, like playing video games with your the stay-at-home parent, your siblings, picking up sports, yes, those are the common answers you hear, but at the end of the day, they're sadly probably some of the best. And I know that's frustrating to hear. It really is, and I promise you it is. But it does get easier, I promise that. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. I know this video is a little bit different than what I normally do here, but I've always wanted to do videos where you can get to know me a little bit more and understand me. And if I can do it while making a video for, people to help, something to help people to understand some things or even, cope, I would love to do that. Again, I did mention Twitter. You can private message me on Discord by adding me as a friend. You can follow us on Twitch if you want to sit in our chat and, be like, hey, and just ask me questions. That's perfectly understandable. And yeah, thank you all for watching. Peace out, guys. I'll let the last little bit of the gameplay play out.